All right, so if you're listening to this, you're probably like me and a little curious about low-carb diets.
Yeah.
We all know someone who swears by them,
Right.
right?
Oh, for sure.
But then there's that little voice in the back of your head that's like, hold on, what about my cholesterol?
Right.
So today we're going to dig into that. We're doing a deep dive into Dr. Borrego's response from April 8th.
Oh, okay.
And we're really trying to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Does going low carb automatically equal high cholesterol?
Yeah, that's a great question. And Dr. Borrego, she kind of jumps right into it.
Yeah.
It's obviously a big concern for people, and she just gets right to the heart of it.
Exactly. So first things first, right?
Yeah.
We got to know, are low-carb diets even effective in the first place?
Right.
And Dr. Borrego says yes, but
Okay.
I feel like there's this, disconfianza, this distrust around the whole cholesterol thing.
I think there's a general, kind of fear around making dietary changes and then how that's going to impact those sort of, key health markers that people are always tracking. Like cholesterol is a big one that people are always worried about. And, when they hear low carb, they think, oh, no, what's going to
It's
happen?
going to throw everything off.
Yeah.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting, because Dr. Borrego says it's not just low carb in general.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the culprit when it comes to cholesterol. She really pinpoints this specific combination, harinas y azúcares.
Oh, interesting.
Flours and sugars together.
I see.
And it makes you think, how often are those two things combined?
Constantly, right?
I mean,
Especially
in processed foods.
in processed foods. Yeah, it's like they go hand in hand.
Yeah, it's like a package deal.
Yeah.
So her insight is suggesting that it's the combination of those two within a low-carb context.
Got it.
That could be the real issue here.
So it's not necessarily the low carb itself.
It's
for
that's what you're replacing it with.
Yeah, what you're replacing it with. And if those two are in the mix,
Yeah.
then maybe there's something to look at there.
Interesting. Okay. So if you're cutting back on carbs, but you're not combining flours and sugars together, Dr. Borrego's saying you're not necessarily going to see that increase in your cholesterol.
Okay.
In fact, she suggests the opposite could happen.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. So
What did she say about that?
So she basically highlights this potential benefit that by avoiding this dynamic duo of flours and sugars on a low-carb diet, you might actually see a reduction in your cholesterol levels.
Wow. So it's like flipping the script on the whole, low carb equals high cholesterol fear.
Totally. And that's like a huge takeaway, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It really challenges the conventional wisdom.
It does.
And she doesn't just stop there.
Okay.
She also mentions that steering clear of these combined carbs can help lower your blood sugar.
Which is also huge.
Absolutely.
Because obviously that, plays into the risk of type 2 diabetes.
Exactly. So lower blood sugar means potentially reducing that risk, which is, a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like a win-win situation, potentially.
Potentially, yeah.
So for you listening at home, the bottom line here, according to Dr. Borrego, is this.
Okay.
Low-carb diets can be effective. And that worry that you have about higher cholesterol might be unfounded
Okay.
if you're careful about not combining those flours and sugars.
Got it.
In fact, you might even see some improvements in both your cholesterol and your blood sugar levels.
That's amazing.
Right.
So it really changes how we should be thinking about this whole thing. Like maybe instead of being so focused on just carbs are bad or low carb is, risky for my cholesterol, we should be looking at it as what types of carbs am I actually eating?
Yeah.
And how are those specific types of carbs interacting, especially those refined flours and sugars?
Are they teaming up to cause trouble?
Yeah, exactly. Are they like the villains in the story of our diet,
I love that analogy.
It makes you think about it differently, right?
It does. It really does.
And maybe that's where the real key to all this lies,
Absolutely. Well, on that note,
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
And hopefully help clear up some of that confusion around low-carb diets and cholesterol.
Yeah. I hope so.
So until next time, happy eating, everyone.
And be mindful of those carbs.
You got it.
All right.
Bye.